This meeting is being recorded.
Thank you, ma'am. So welcome, everyone. Delightful to have you here. And I want to show you a piece that we're going to work with in our grounding. So I'm going to do a screen share. So this is in your topics in Mighty Networks about the 12 chakra system. And one of the things I love about it, first it's talking about the upper chakras, the divine gateway chakra, which is our God consciousness, where we're just pure essence. And then the 11th, 10th, and 9th are the chakras above the crown. And then it does something very unusual. The 8th is below the feet. Some call it the Earth Star chakra. And it's like a figure 8. And so the meditation we're going to do is bringing in the light, and you get down to the 9th above the crown, which is the transpersonal chakra. This calls it the etheric chakra. And then cycle the light around to the Earth Star chakra and do that figure 8, and then bring it up to the 7th and down and up to the 6th, and it grounds each of the chakras in that Earth Star chakra. And I feel that for us to be channeling, having that deep grounding is really valuable. Okay. So since we're working with below the feet, I think it'd be fun to do it standing up, and I'm going to take care of the spill on my desk. Don't know how that happened. I've been a little challenged because my personal assistant has left, and I've got someone here that's not thinking it's her job. So still looking. All right. So if you'll stand and just shake out, resets the nervous system. And you stand back far enough that you can see your body a bit.
I'm not gonna have my wall here.
Okay. And then let's just clear. Ha 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 ha. Bye world. Ha 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 ha. We'll do this grounding. This is an African grounding. We'll do that, and then that'll help us really connect to that Earth Star. So you go above each foot and you just send your energy into the earth. Ha! Yeah. Ha! 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 Yeah. Okay, now feel your grounding deep into the earth. Refresh it if you wish. Deep, deep roots. Breathing in. breathing in and calling in your light. The light from the heart of your soul. Use your hands if you wish. Call it in all the way into that 12th chakra. And that's very expansive. So just feel like you're linking up to a field of light, the quantum realm. And then that's coming down into the 11th, the realm of spiritual essence. And then that's flowing down into the 10th, the realm of the real transcendent self. And that's flowing down into the 9th, the call it the realm of, what do they call it? The etheric chakra, the realm of the possible, the causal. It's also thought of as the transpersonal chakra. And then we're going to take that light and cycle it all the way down to the earth star chakra and describe this figure 8 beneath your feet with your breath. Ah. Breathe the light back up into the 7th, the crown, filling your crown with light, still flowing from source and also connected to the earth star chakra. Breathing. On an out breath, send it all the way down to the earth star chakra. Feel that figure 8. Oh. Breathing up. Grounded energy to the 6th, filling the 3rd eye. And on an out breath, breathe it down to the earth star chakra. Oh. In breath, bring the energy up to the throat. Fill the throat. Oh, there's blue. Filling the throat. Blue essence. On the next out breath, sending the light down, connecting to the earth star chakra. Breathing that grounded energy up to the heart. Filling the heart, the color green, like spring green. Opening the heart with your breath. On an out breath, sending that down to your star chakra. Figure 8. Breathing in, breathing that up to the solar plexus. Colors yellow, the symbol's the sun. Filling the yellow. Filling the solar plexus with yellow. Grounded energy. And the light from source. Source and ground meet in your chakras. The out breath, sending that down to the earth star chakra, making your power center in your grounding. Breathing up into the 2nd. In that grounded energy and the light into the 2nd. Color is a bright, clear orange. Sending that down to the earth star chakra. Breathing that grounded energy into the 1st, bright clear red. Feel that rainbow, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, white light. Feel that alignment in you with your star chakra. you wish, take a moment and just kind of close like a flower. In breath, open and blossom into your light. Bring your grounded self back to your seat. So you might want to access this page. It has a lot of information about the chakras that I find useful, and every system has them different. So let go of, but I've learned it differently. Okay. You still get to stay with what works for you, because I think our own spirit knows. And just see what you learn from another as well. So, how does that feel? So I just feel, add that groundedness to your anchor. Oh. All right. Great to see you all. So let's do check-in. And who would be willing to time today? Nina, thank you. So 1.5 and 2. Diana?
Did you call on me?
Yes.
Well, as some of you know, I've been sick since, well, for a week. And Friday I started feeling better. But an interesting thing happened is that all of a sudden I was flooded with all of the negative thoughts I have about every part of my life. You know, everything. It was just all there. And I have, it's been coming back in parts and pieces pretty much every day. It hasn't, it's not like I was dwelling on the negative thoughts, but they were there. They kept coming back. They kept showing up. And then of course I've been doing a lot of crying, sometimes out of nowhere. It's just been a really interesting time. I feel like in a way, and it all, but at the same time, my intuition has been better, you know. So it's just been, it's been interesting. You know, I can't say that I have been doing any specific work with it, although I feel like in a way I have. It's weird. It's a little different because I'm so used to, you know, trying to think positively and everything, but obviously all that stuff that's in there, just boom, there it was.
Mhm.
I did write down goals, but I've been accomplishing goals. I did write down some in my journal, or I take, if I can't sleep, sometimes I realize I have to get up and write things down, and I've been getting things accomplished. That so that feels good. It feels like there's forward movement in spite of all of that, or because of it. I don't know. Thank you.
You're welcome. You want some sparkles and love? Want some loving? Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Liz?
Good morning. I'm following along the same paths of working less, working smarter, doing more things for me. So I had my first art lesson, which I really enjoyed, a fabulous woman who just was willing to play with all different kinds of mediums because I don't know what I want to do. So you got to explore to see what you're good at. And I'm not a real patient person, so sitting there doing small things wouldn't probably work, but I'm liking mosaics and that kind of stuff is kind of cool. Anyway, so I've been doing that, and I've also, with my clients, I'm tweaking my sessions so that being easier on myself, and I've been practicing with that. And I do cranial work, I do acupressure, I use my tuning forks. So I'm using those modalities more, and joint mobilization and deep massage and all of that way less. If somebody says anything, I tell them, go find some young girl to do all that for you. I can't do it anymore. And they laugh. But it's just, I want to preserve my body to be able to continue doing what I do. So I have to be smart about it. So anyway, and I'm giving myself more boundaries time-wise. I'm done at 3 p.m. No, I'm not going to stay till 4 or 5. Oops, I know you get off at 5 and you want to come at 6. I don't do that anymore. It's done. I walk out the door at 3 o'clock, period. So I'm getting stricter with my own self. So I appreciate that as well. There's the time. Okay, I'll shut up. But anyway, so I'm appreciating it and appreciating the journey. And thank you for witnessing, you guys. I appreciate it.
Beautiful.
And I would love some love. Thank you. Thank you.
Who's next? Lucinda?
Hi. So my goals are going good. Everything feels like it's flowing and coming together divinely as it should. So my little thing is some emotional stuff has come through. And I realized that I didn't introduce myself on the platform. And I attempted to do it on the first one, but I think that was the one where Evelina's assistant sent us a different link to a group, maybe a past group or something. I'm not sure. But I was just sitting with that and thinking, what is that hesitation around introducing myself? And I've realized that it's been a challenge for me for the past 8 years since I had the head injury. And it's like not knowing how to step back into the ego, the actual part of the humanness, to have the human experience. And that when I had the head injury, I went from the I consciousness to the we consciousness. And then moving back into the I consciousness has been it's been a challenging experience for me, to say the least. And what's come forward for me is the script that I've been saying, that I've moved to North Carolina to help take care of my mom because she broke her hip, and we didn't, as a family, didn't want her to lose her home because she was having some financial problems. And I dug a little bit deeper into that because that felt like a total ego story, like what you just tell everybody. And what ended up coming through for me was more that I've come back to receive love. And to feel better about losing my mom, being able to release her from the earthly plane, and then to live and experience life again in a different way. So that was a lot for me. That's kind of where I am. I am complete, and I would love some love.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Next. Carrie.
Hello, everyone. This week I was focusing on releasing some old patterns and programs that are preventing me from my purpose. And I've gotten really clear, I've known this, but it's embodied that my purpose is living heaven on earth. And I am so committed to doing whatever it takes to live in that vibration of me being fully in heaven and embodied my heaven sense and really walking on this earth in a very human way. So that is my practice. And the things that were not allowed to come in is me rushing this week, and also feeling like I'm getting torn in the middle. So like between my partner and my son, between my friends and my work, I always feel like there's like these two ends, my needs and somebody else's needs, like everyone's needs mattering. So I had an opportunity this week where those came like really up, and I was catching myself in the moment of rushing and saying, stop, we just don't do that anymore. Sorry, sweetheart, that doesn't exist here. Got to let it go, and it like the dog went down. He didn't want to walk, the babysitter was kind of like, oh, no problem. We're going to be at the park where you're going to walk the dog. Like everything just like lined up as soon as I caught the pattern. And the same thing happened. I went to another festival this weekend. Between like feeling like I committed to two things at once and was feeling that pressure. And then I just have been practicing, like, no matter what, I come into my full power and I make the best conscious choice, and I cannot be responsible of how that impacts anybody else. Like they're responsible for their feelings, and I am doing what I need to do because nothing is worth sacrificing my heaven on earth. And I feel like the more I embody that and communicate that, like the relationships are becoming more harmonious then, and understanding, like, and I trust that you're sovereign and that no matter what, you'll take care of your needs as I take care of mine. And then like trusting in that flow. So that's what I've been playing with. And I'm really excited for the channeling. I've been channeling for a while now. And I'm really excited to kind of go deeper with that in the new way too. So thank you all. And I'm open for your support and love. Thank you, sisters. I receive.
Heather. Heather and then Jasmine.
Okay. I had a good week. I posted last time after our last meeting that I wanted to, and we talked about it last time also, just allowing this love to come in and being open to this new relationship. And I sense that I felt a really big shift just in the last day or two, especially. It was almost visceral in my body, this sense of like, and I think it's good, a natural progression of like initially meeting this person and having parts of myself like up and like, who is this? Is this real? Is it good? Is it like kind of assessing and discerning like the legitimacy of it and, all those things. And it feels like I'm getting enough feedback and enough, a ton of serendipitous, synchronistic, symbolistic, like all the things are just like confirming, move forward. It's okay. It's good. You're great. Go. And he's getting the same. And so something in me is just like, it's just opening up to that now. And I'm just like, wow, I'm totally falling in love with this person. And I'm just gonna be happy and excited for it and not be scared. So it's happening and it's feeling really good. So yeah. And I'll also say like each relationship brings new layers of healing. And so even in that, I'm just noticing certain parts come up that are like, oh, what about this scary thing? Or all of a sudden I felt super stupid. And, like, how do I, oh, wow, who knew I had a part that felt so stupid and 8 years old again, So, there's the love and there's the awesomeness and there's like, yep. And the healing's just going to keep on flowing through. So that's my update. It's good to be back. Yeah. And I'll take love from all of you. Thank you. Ah. Thank you.
Jasmine.
Okay, I think it's gonna stay. Well, I had a really good week too. I was invited again. I went to Rising Appalachia. I just learned how to pronounce that name here on Saturday evening with those new friends. I've only been in North Carolina for just over 2.5 months, and I'm loving it here. And I always have a group there, a young group of friends. And my intention with this new modality is to just, I've been kind of watching the unfolding with it. I want it to, I guess, come into its own, kind of like witness and watch and allow. And I ended up sharing with one of the guys who got really excited about what I want to share. He's like, I want to learn everything you're talking about. And I was also saying how I feel like not the best kind of geek on social media. And he said, it doesn't sound like he's a super expert, but he said, I would love to do that for you and receive your teachings. Yes. So that's really wonderful. And I also consulted, there's like a program about marketing your work, because that's just not my favorite thing to do at all. So I'm inquiring into that after we're complete, going into another program where they really help brand you and market you in a way that gets you out there effectively in front of people and social media, because I just, that's just not my forte. I don't know. I'd rather teach or share the gifts I have. And something that's come up for me for years that I think I'll just speak into this space. I've had a lot of trouble with the word serving and service. I like contribution. Like, to me, that's a much more abundant word to use. Like, I want to contribute and share these tools with people. Oh, okay. Is my time up? Okay, thank you so much. Of course, I love your love. Thank you.
Yay. Who's next?
Go.
Olivia.
I had a really beautiful week with a lot of creativity, some paintings, some poetry. I did a little grief ritual in my creek, and I wasn't by my creek when I wanted another ritual, so I did a receiving ritual in my shower, where I was just like being showered with everything that I was receiving. It was so lovely. It was like getting really into that receptivity. And yeah, just some really sweet moments of connection with strangers. Like, I met this really beautiful woman who at the thrift store, like, was just telling me about channeling like the creative spirit of her mother who had passed, and it was just really, really gorgeous like little snapshots of moments of being with people. And I feel like the work that we did last week feels very in a state of unknown and unfolding. And I have a lot of curiosity around what was coming up for me, and want to know more. And I would love some loving, please. Thank you.
Nina, I think you're left.
Let's see, this week's been good as well. A friend of mine came to visit from out of town, and we went paddleboarding, which I love. I have not done that since I've moved back, because the French Broad River is not really the cleanest to me. I'm used to Jackson Hole, beautiful water. So it was quite interesting, but it was, oh my God, it was so amazing. And being on the water and just with all of the beautiful trees is just, I mean, it's a different way of being in nature. It's just the water. I mean, just all the elements. It was great. And no one fell in, so that was a good thing. And just a lot of things seem to be much more just asking the universe for, and things seem to be coming in more with some different clients, and just talking to various people, that getting the word out for what it is that I do, and just, yeah, it's like synchronicities. A lot of things are coming together. So I'm very, very grateful for that. And I look forward to our channeling today. Yeah, okay, and that's it. And open to much love.
So I've had a very challenging time around this personal assistant who left, and I've been interviewing, and this one doesn't feel right, and that one decides it's not her job. And so a good friend told me at a party on Saturday that she'd step in and help me for a while. And as I started to train her, she's going, "Ooh, this is not what I expected. I don't think so." So she's here and she's going to help for a while, but I'm still calling my person. So let's just all vision the absolute magic personal and office assistant arriving, wanting the job and staying with me, because it really makes a difference in me being able to be as effective as I want to be. So I've had some great time with friends this week, and one of my friends is an organizer extraordinaire, has done lots and lots and lots of events for 25 years, and she's really on fire about helping create a way for me to do my Tantra work in North Carolina, which I haven't done. And what we realized is what wants to happen is to gather people that, it's kind of like train the trainer, to gather people who want to be practitioners of Tantra and teach them my lineage, as she calls it, and help empower them to do Tantra in their world or their lives in whatever way they wish. And so it feels like this whole part of my work that I've devoted 25 years to and put on the shelf is getting a whole new life. And I'm not so very interested in teaching beginners, but I'm very interested in empowering practitioners who can then teach other people, and to create a web and a support network for people who want to get their Tantra work out in the world. So that's very exciting. We were both thrilled with what we came up with. And we'll probably do a gathering of people for input on what people want soon, of people that feel like they fit that category. You know, doing the mentorship, I've just realized how much I love working with more advanced practitioners, people that have done a lot of work like you all have and are ready to really move and already have the language. So that's what I'm calling in the Tantra world. Oh, you know, if I were teaching beginners, I've got all the curriculums. So this means creating something new, but that's exciting too. So we'll see where that goes. And I'd love you loving. Ooh, what a powerful group. Thank you. So, a couple of things before we dive all the way in. One is that on the second Thursday of each month, I do an online satsang, and that's this week. The first one's free. You sign up on my website. And if you join the membership of the Hub of Alchemical Love, which is the membership where I do my monthly satsangs, it's $25 a month, and you get these amazing gifts, including something exclusive to members, which is a 20-minute guidance on activating the new human. It's one of my best pieces. And a 60% discount on courses and all kinds of other goodies. So you can see it on the website. I'll put the link in the chat. And I want to do a poll. So this will be a poll to have you give me input on some of the options that we can put in the next 5 weeks. So there's 2 questions. Check 3 to 6 of the first one, and then scroll down. There's a second set because I couldn't figure out how to get it all in one, and 2 to 4 of those. So I say those numbers because if you check everything, it doesn't give me much information, except you love my work. So if you'll go ahead and check what you'd like to now, that would be great. Looks like one more people needs to check that you've done it. Anyone need more time? Only shows 7 people. You didn't scroll. Did others scroll? Well, I can tell afterwards, Lucinda, if you're there, and if not, I'll send it to you in an email. Okay. Is the link for the satsang, and I'm happy to share a post on my job. I'll do that. Okay. Thank you. Now I'll share results. So, vision new realities, study the light body, practice channeling, marketing funnels, creation of rituals. Okay. So I see which have the most votes, and that's where we'll start with our next days. And thank you. Yay. So I get a lot of interest in learning more about guides and channeling, opening the higher realms. And I want to name, for me, the difference between psychic and channeling. So psychic is more working with the third eye and the solar plexus. Channeling is more crown and heart. Psychic is more, I'm getting, I'm hearing, I'm seeing, and then interpreting. It's quite valid and beautiful, but there's a sense of it coming through your filters and through your interpretation. Channeling feels riskier because when you go to channel, you open your mouth and start speaking, and you're not sure what's going to come out because you're allowing it to come through you. And so very often I'll start answering a question and I'm like, well, I have no idea where this is going, but allowing spirit to speak through you. I showed you those 12 levels of chakras because we exist on all these other planes. So I feel that when we're channeling, it's not like it's totally the guides. It may be a combination of guidance and our higher essence coming through. But it's arriving through the crown, and I think if you anchor in the heart, you're most receptive to it. So there's less of self. And it really takes, to me, it takes courage to allow the words to come through. It's kind of like if you channel a painting, you don't know what's going to be on that canvas. You're just allowing it. You're seeing what unfolds. Or if you're journaling it's just free thought. You're letting go of the ego's need to know in advance what's going to happen. Because it's not from the ego. It's a soul-sized experience. Gene Houston used to say, some things are soul-sized affairs. And this is one of them. that really accesses your soul and the souls of those who are guides. So it takes time to develop the ability to channel. Some of you already are there. I have been channeling. I first started with guides 44 years ago, because when I started my private practice in therapy, it was clear I didn't know enough to be alone in the room with people. So I took every workshop I could to learn. And in one of those, I met my spirit guides and I went, I don't have to be alone. So I've always worked with guides, whether the person on the other chair knows or not. I've really let go of calling people my client, because they're not mine. They're people who choose to work with me. So whether they know I'm channeling or not, the guidance is in the room. And then I first started learning to channel 36 years ago. And in those 36 years, I would say that my capacity grows every year, including this year. I can bring through more. The guides can access more of the other realms, higher realms in the work. It used to be, if we were doing a clearing of what's underneath somebody's resistance, for instance, or illness, we might find there's a lifetime where they were part of a coven and there were these rituals, spells, incantations. Used to be we'd clear them. Now we'll bring in the elders of that coven and clear them, but also clear all the others affected in the coven and their lifetimes, to clear that distortion out of Earth consciousness. And I wouldn't have been capable of going there. And I don't think the Earth was ready until recently. And so more gets possible the more you practice. Sometimes what you receive is in the language of light. Some of you have experienced that. The feminine channels, feminine guides, their information tends to come more in gestalts. They work more with the wholeness. And so as you're channeling, there's a sense of knowingness. And then you're just tuning in to find the words that define what you're knowing. And I sometimes pause and allow, and I'm not trying to just pretend I can keep going, because I want to allow just the best way to say things. And it gets slower, just like my speech is right now. It can get slower to be more accurate. When you channel, if you're channeling for yourself and it comes in the language of light, I think a beautiful thing to do afterwards is journal. And in that journaling, you may find that you're integrating what you learn and you're able to understand it, to have it touch things in you, things open. It works you. And the journaling helps you understand more of what's occurring. So because I think it takes time to learn channeling, really allow stages and phases and beginning mind at each new level, because then you're more available. If you try to go further than you're ready, that's where it gets off. One of my first experiences was I had a man that I did a channeling for, and his friend came to try to prove I was a fake, because he wanted to convince his friend not to believe in me. And his friend was actually, I don't want to say that, never mind. So he was asking me all these questions that he knew the answers to, and I didn't. And I felt Mother Mary wanting to shut him down and say, how dare you do this with a beginning channel? but I couldn't imagine she would come through angry. So I didn't allow it. And that's exactly what needed to happen, because I didn't know what he was doing, but she could tell. And so I kept trying, and he ended up proving I was a fake because I just I couldn't meet what he was needing, because there was this duplicitousness in the space. It's really hard to channel to that. People who come and they don't want to tell you anything because they want you to guess what they're trying to figure out. It's really hard because they're being duplicitous. I would much rather ask, what would you like to know? Or what do you already know about this? And then go from there. So he proved I was a fake, and he told his friend, and his friend came back anyway. And I said, how is it you come back when your friend was so clear that I wasn't accurate at all? And he said, well, I figure reality is very different, and he has his reality and I have mine, and I love what I'm getting from you. So that was an interesting experience for me. The hardest thing for me is getting names, or if someone wants me to channel in another language, I just say, that's really not my thing. I find it challenging. I find it challenging to get names of, like, it's easier if it's who somebody was in another life, but who am I going to work for, or the name of people I should study with. And so I just say, I would rather you bring me the names of people you're considering, and we'll assess each one. So you get to have boundaries. And it's important, because when you're channeling, people assume that you know everything. Well, the guides may, but we're human. And my psyche may get in the way, and that's okay. I don't have to be perfect, and I don't have to be all-knowing for people. I do tell people that my channeling is therapeutic rather than predictive, because I'm really not wanting to be a psychic that tells people who they're going to meet and when and where. I actually think that is unhelpful to people, because then they're looking for that, and they're not looking for a serendipity experience with somebody. And everything is measured against that standard. So it takes away freedom. And I'm not wanting to do that. You may start, if you're just beginning, with what I call training guides. The first being that I connected with was Melchizedek, who's in the Old Testaments, and the book of Orange is about him. But the training guide they gave me was Priscilla, who I'd known in a lifetime in Greece. And she was more like a personal guide that I could ask her anything. And as we were developing my ability to channel, it might be even how to season my food. Would this be good, or would this be good? Because it's learning that listening. And it's not that they care how your food comes out, or really any of the outcomes. It's about our evolution. That's what they're interested in, our development. So it's very much an affair of now. That's part of why we do the embodiment practices, because channeling requires getting so in the now that you're not worrying about the future or what they're going to think, or bringing in the past, fully in the now. So I think I want to just give you this briefly. It's in my last email for spiritual, anything spiritual. There's 5 points of, the first is surrender. I use the thumb because it's the biggest one. And that's a turning over. It's allowing something higher to come through. And then the next is allow. And that is really getting into now and allowing. And the next is accept. So accepting, I know what I know, I'm present, I'm here. Accepting that what's coming through is what's meant to come through. And the next one is acknowledge. I acknowledge, I've done my invocation, always do an invocation. I acknowledge that I'm grounded, I'm centered, I'm listening. I acknowledge that I can hear my guides, I can feel my guides, and that allows you to arrive. So we think of surrender and arrive, but there's these other steps in between. So there's a whole video on that in my last email. So once you start allowing the channeling to come through, you'll hear these voices inside of, how do you know this is your guides and not me? And the best thing I think to say to those voices is, I don't, please be still. Don't argue with it. I'll often ask my conscious mind, I'll say, conscious mind, I love you, you really serve me. Right now, I want a spiritual experience. It's beyond your understanding. Would you come sit on this pillow over here? And I give them a pillow. And just take notes. We'll talk about it later. But I'd really like you to let go of all thought right now. And then I do the same with ego. I give them a pillow. Ego, I love you. You're very good at helping me deal with here and now. I'm wanting a spiritual experience. Please be still. Take notes. We'll talk later. Because the channeling often comes through the mind. It'll feel like a still small voice sometimes. So it's using our consciousness. It's coming through our consciousness. So sometimes it will feel like, is this just me thinking? And you just go with it because it will get clearer and clearer. What I find is it's a little deeper and more expansive than what I would be saying or thinking. And so as I allow that, I can feel the difference. And when you're beginning, it's some combination. So what? Your wisdom, you've got wisdom. You know, if it's your higher self and guidance, it doesn't matter. So I never want to claim that this is absolute pure essence. What I've heard is most psychics and channels are about 85 to 90% accurate. So if I say something and people go, that didn't work, I want to go, okay, I'm really glad you're listening to your heart. And before I start, I tell them I'm doing an invocation. You've heard it several times. I'm doing an invocation that sets a temple of light, ensures we're working with the beings we're going to work with. And at any point, you can ask questions. They may ask you questions. It's collaborative. And so it's like these wise beings come and sit with you and collaborate about your life. If anything feels off, please tell me. So I'm already saying, stay conscious. Stay aware. If it feels off, let me know. Sometimes I'll joke, we'll tune the channel. Most people don't get it, so I don't do it too often. But to let them have permission to monitor it, because then you don't have to be all things to all people. It takes a lot of pressure off. There's a phrase in a CD I have available on I think it's still available on my website, that says to place your mind on the altar of change. So you just ask your mind to be really quiet so the voice of spirit can enter. And then you keep coming back to now. If I'm if I'm not sure about what wants to get said, I'll just say, let this be God's truth and not mine. I'll say that inside, God's truth, highest truth, and go ahead and say it. And things get said that I'm like, ooh, and the other person goes, oh my God, that's exactly what I needed to hear. So we don't know as much as the guides may know about what's really going to serve them. Diana, are you able to hear pretty well? Good, great. The other thing I feel that distinguishes the higher guides is they're really not interested in telling people what to do or making people's decisions for them. They want to collaborate and help the person arrive at a decision. And the difference in that, and we think we've actually demonstrated it here a bit, the difference is it becomes their choice then, and they're aligned with it, rather than the guides told me I had to do this. And if you're channeling and you feel like, oh my God, this whoever's coming through is giving a lot of decisions and telling this person what to do, rebalance and recenter and call again for the highest, brightest, clearest, most radiant beings of light to channel through. Because what the guides say, we don't want to run your life. If we wanted a life, we'd get one. They really are here to empower people in their choices. So who here has experienced channeling? And you want to say a little bit about what you've experienced? Diana?
Well, I learned to channel from you, and you learned to channel from a mutual friend.
Yes.
And I decided to go, before I took your class, I decided to go, well, I visited Austin, and I decided to have him channel for me. And of course, he had me close my eyes, but then I opened them because I wanted to see. And the first thing that happened was I saw these hands go through my body. And it was fascinating and interesting. And afterwards I said, do they ever say something that you don't agree with or that you wouldn't have said? And he goes, oh yeah, you know. But my own experience is, well, like what you were saying is that I know when I'm trying to give someone advice, I'm giving them my advice. But with the angels, it's like this, it's an open palm, which you're free to take if you choose, but it's so different. And that's one of the things I really appreciate about channeling. I haven't had a lot of practice channeling for others. I've done a little bit, but I did for quite a while do automatic writing on my computer with the angels, and mostly, you know, actually when I channeled, it was always Michael. They didn't introduce themselves as Archangel Michael, so who. But I did have an experience with one person who wanted me to channel Osho, which I thought was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing that came through was a Native American, and they weren't completely happy about that, but that's what came through. And it was so fascinating because the energy was so different with this Native American. And then when Osho did come through, it was quite different than normal channeling would have been for me with that person. I haven't had very much experience, and I would like to have more. I'd like to be more open to bringing that forth. And I'm complete. Thank you.
Thank you. Who else?
Oh, I did want to say one more thing. I mentioned that the tears were rolling down my face when I was channeling in that class. I found out later that Evelina was working with me at that very moment. She told me later. So, no surprise there. Thank you.
You're welcome. And tears often roll down my cheek when I'm channeling. If I'm channeling and someone's clearing a big emotional thing, I'll just have tears rolling. And then I'll just say, tears flow when we touch deep truth. People usually don't mind. Who else want to share what you've experienced? Jasmine?
I was thinking about the first time I started channeling. I was about 28, and I at the time I was, boy, I had a Kundalini awakening at 26. And I spent a lot of time during those years kind of contemplating what happened to human beings, like what really screwed us up originally. And I would go deep into meditation and start receiving a lot of information about what happened to us. And I started writing, journal writing, and allowing.
Mhm.
And then I moved to Maui. I was in Berkeley at the time. There've been a few different periods of my life where I've like opened up to channel because I had the time and the space. And particularly, I was really focusing on it when I moved from Maui to California in 2005, and well, actually before then too. And I had a lot of poetry come through, and that would make me cry a lot. I channeled mainly for myself, and I was painting, and it was such a blissful experience. I was in deep gratitude all the time, and I felt like I was meant to be a channel. And then the recession hit in 2007, 2008, my life completely changed. But those times of channeling, I don't know, I'm very excited to learn more because I'd like to delve more deeply into this. It is so blissful and divine. And I studied a number of different psychic institutes, and they about thinking particularly Berkeley Psychic Institute, who said you don't want to bring things into you. So my focus was really on just opening and allowing, and is often source, or it seems like my higher self. Experience which, yeah, always has brought me tears too. And here and there I do it a little bit, but yeah, I would love to really get a lot more into this because I do feel that path here.
Thank you. So I'm going to speak to that. I think that the higher beings, they don't need to come into you. You know, when channeling first returned, it was the trance channeling and the being would take over. But conscious channeling, to me, they're working through my crown and my heart, but not inhabiting my body. With an occasional acceptance. When Aphrodite comes in, she loves really coming and having a body, and it's like a little coffee class with people, and she's very demonstrative, and it's okay because I always challenge any being to show me their light. And whoever you work with, you can always challenge them to show you their light. I have a beloved on the other side of the veil, and I will challenge him to show me his light. And every once in a while, someone comes who's trying to pretend to be him. So it's a good thing. And I can feel the difference in the energy, but you can also ask. And beings that are worthy of you channeling them will thank you for taking care of yourself. And if a being questions, you don't need to see my light. No, that's not important. Tell them to go. Get Kali and move them out. Because if they don't want to show you their light, they're not worthy of being in your space, is my feeling. I like to hang out with the best. So anyone else want to share your experience channeling? Lucinda?
So I wanted to share one little tidbit that came through for me during our last Tuesday. And that is that I love to work with candles. I
Mhm.
light my candle in my intentional prayer before I begin any work. And the actual light of the candle helps to tell me what energy is in the space.
Mm.
So I have my dog and I have candles. And so my dog tells me when the angels are there, and he tells me when there's some darker energy
Mhm.
by the different barks. And the candle actually shares with me if the light energy goes away and a darker entity is there, the candle will blow out. So even when I'm clearing clients and things of that nature, I will ask them to keep an eye on the candle, because I know that when the candlelight goes off, that whatever is coming through for us to process and work through together it's consumed the space.
Mhm.
And it doesn't happen very often, but I do find that that's a good checkpoint for me. And I love
Beautiful.
yours, Evelina, about asking them to show the light. So I'm excited to experience and share with that. And then the other thing that I wanted to share is that oftentimes the information that I receive feels beyond me in the moment. And I always think that I'm going to be able to write it down later, or I'm going to remember it later. But my guides are really good about telling me to write it down in the middle of my meditation. And sometimes I persist because the light feels so yummy and it feels so good. And I'm like, I know I will remember this. And I remember one morning while I was up here in North Carolina, and my mom had asked me why I was in a bad mood. And I said, well, my guides gave me a piece of information. I have no idea what they're talking about. They talk to me in riddles and they give me these just complex stuff. And I'm thinking, they're so far more advanced than I am. And I get irritated sometimes with them. And so my mom's a scholar. And so she's like, well, let me see if I can figure out the riddle. And I just remember sharing with her. And in this particular message, they were telling me to write it down, and I kept saying, no, I'm going to remember. And they're like, Lucinda, you need to write this down. Pull yourself to your consciousness so you can write. And I wrote down Babel. And so of course, when I finished my meditation, because I was probably there 3 or 4 hours, who knows, I come out and I look at the piece of paper and it says Babel. And then I began to get irritated because I didn't understand what the message was. And so my mom reminded me of in the Bible, the Tower of Babel was about communication, and how communication and language is one of those, it's a big component. And where I was in my journey at that particular time, I was like, wow, that is just brilliant. Like they could just use one word to tell me something that was so valid and important to me in my journey. So I don't know whether mine just have like a really good sense of humor, or everyone's does, but I just feel
They
like
do.
sometimes they're messing with me in the most beautiful way, because I probably would dismiss it if it wasn't so challenging. So I shared not to dismiss anything that comes through, because later it could have very profound meaning for you. So
Beautiful.
that's it. Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay. So I want to get to a meditation. Is there anything that's been waiting to get shared? Okay. So we're going to do a brief meditation, bringing in guides, and then we'll take our break and then share with the council and practice some channeling. Okay. I want to encourage you to let go of comparing yourself to anyone else. Because what we do when we compare is we compare our short suit to someone's long suit. Where we feel less than adequate, we compare to their best. But we don't compare our best to somebody else's less than adequate. So just let go of comparing altogether. This is about you and your evolution. So grounding, centering, big breath, let it out with a sigh. Allow your light to spiral down your center, follow it in. Take up residence in the core of your body. Breathing in, flowing in, letting your light bring you all the way into the center of your heart chakra, into that sanctuary in your heart. And allow yourself to quiet and just feel your light. And then as you're ready, ask for the highest, brightest, clearest, most radiant guides that you're ready to receive to work with you. Those most aligned with the heart of the divine to come and be with you. Highest, brightest, clearest, most radiant guides to come be with you. And just be, allow yourself to sense and feel, arriving in now, allowing. Allowing these beings or this being to reveal themselves in whatever way is best for this time. You can ask your guide or guides, please open my third eye, help me see you, help me feel you. Seeing is not necessary. It may be sensing with your heart chakra, felt sense of presence. You can ask, how can I best work with you? Allow the response to arise for you. Sense of knowing, or hearing, or feeling, or sensing. Letting go of thought, inviting the mind to be still and witness. Knowing that your guide knows how to do this. Let them teach you. Help me open. Accept. Acknowledge yourself for asking, for receiving. Acknowledge your guide for being with you. And arrive in this connection, this sacred connection. can ask anything you might ask. What is the nature of our work together? Breathing deep into your heart. Allow and receive. And thanking this being for being here with you, for coming to be here. And invite them to stay through this time today. And channel through you whatever wants to come through from the highest realm. If you want to spend a little more time in this, do. If you want to do some journaling, that's fine. We're going to go into our break to allow you to have your completion with this and come back at 40 after the hour. That's 15 minutes. Take your time. Okay, welcome back. Sorry, I was slow. I said I had to save a couple plants for my person who needed to be shown how to trim them. So shall we call in our friends in high places? This invocation was given to me as a way to open the Akashic records. You're welcome to use it or your own, but always use one. Okay. So breathing and grounding, allow yourself to center, flow right into the core of your body, arriving even deeper in the heart of now. I ask the angels and archangels, please create for us a crystalline temple of radiant energy, crystalline temple of light, all around each one of us and this work, now and in the replays. We ask that you cleanse and clear all energies not of the light from around any of us, and we, for each of us, our own chrysalis of radiant light, filled with the rays and vibrations needed by each person here. Our bodies, our lives, by this work. Asking God, God is source of all that is, to encompass us in so much radiance that only beings serving love, light, and truth may participate in any way. Deepest healing and highest guidance is received. If you will, breathe and ground, invoking your own most radiant high soul, the radiant heart of your being, most aligned with the heart of God, to guide you in this practice today. Calling in, welcoming in the Council of 12, and those radiant beings of light who are guides or angels for anyone here, serving the heart of love and truth only. Greetings, dear ones. We greet you, we bless you. We're honored to be with you. We feel your own guides coming in. Very happy to have this opportunity. And as you allow yourself to practice channeling, just keep tuning in within. So we'll invite someone to ask a question. It can be a personal question or about life or about your work. And then everyone tune in and see if guidance wants to speak to you, through you, to that question. And unmute and share. So the challenge is, if two people are ready to speak at the same time, to hold that if you're waiting. But then again, if you want to practice channeling, just tune in again, tune in fresh. Might not even be the same words, because life has changed from what's been shared. And so it's what wants to be spoken in the moment. Okay? It's often valuable to just look up into your third eye. You stay really grounded, because the more you're grounded in now, the easier it is for spirit to have access. If you go out to meet spirit, that's okay, that's fine. You can have some good journeys that way, and yet when you're truly channeling, you let spirit come in to meet you. You open the portals, prepare yourself, and allow. So let's see what we experience. And once you channel, we may offer mentoring or guidance, which is just to support more awareness for you as you allow the words to come through. Okay? You up for this? Yes? Yes. Good. So would someone offer a question or an inquiry that we can all tune into? Yes, Olivia.
I have one. So over the last couple of months, I keep getting calls from clients who just aren't a match for me. And I'm really curious about what is the mismatch and how can I become more in alignment with those who I am calling in.
Okay. So everyone tune in, looking into your third eye, looking into your soul, being in your heart, inviting the highest guidance to come through you. And it may come in a question, it may come in a response. When you're ready, unmute and share. I can feel some of you right on the verge of speaking. Go ahead. Lucinda? You'll need to unmute. Yeah.
So I have a question for you, Olivia. What is the feeling or the nudge or the experience that's coming up that's telling you that they're not the right match? What does that feel like and look like for you?
The only way I can, it's like that. There's not a connecting point, perhaps. There's like this sense that my language and kind of way of working is not what they're valuing or seeking.
And so in that knowing, how does it feel when I use the word boundary for you? Like giving you the opportunity to stand in the affirmation of a no for you.
That feels fine. I mean, we don't end up working together anyway, so it's not, yeah, it's not like they end up being with me and I'm taking them on despite it being a no.
Well, I'm asking in regards to a boundary and saying no and actually knowing that that's not the direction. How does that, are you feeling any empowerment from that? Because what I'm pulling forward in my gut, what's coming through is that it's not actually that they're not in alignment with you per se, because that information is coming as a teacher. And maybe the question is more is what is that here to teach you? And I'm trying to be as vague as I possibly can.
Okay.
On purpose.
Yeah, just kind of feeling into the reality that I don't have to work with them. And that feels nice as compared to like past, previously doing agency work and having to work with whoever came to me. Yeah, I think
and could this be gifting you, like maybe write down on a sheet of paper the people that are showing up that are not the right match, and then using the opposite to write on the sheet of paper to say that you would like to receive more of these people, because now you have a more defined knowing. And if it's the language that's separating you, that now that you've set the boundary that this is a no, that you can also create a yes for yourself from that space. How does that feel?
It feels really lovely.
Good, good. And we like that checking in at the end. How does it feel? How does that land? It felt really right to start with a question. Yeah.
Thank you.
Carrie?
Mine is similar. I received these clients are here to show you how far you come. So celebrate, dear one. Celebrate your knowing, celebrate your expansion. They're showing you that. And they're here to support your clarity, trust in your power. So it's very similar to what I think Lucinda was getting. Yeah.
Good.
Mm.
So like a very clear transmission, we imagine. Liz?
What I'm getting is that sometimes we can't judge a book by its cover. Sometimes in our resistance to a client coming into our practice, there's a mirror, there's something there for us to learn that we're resisting, maybe. And what I have found is bringing those clients in and doing some grounding and clearing, even chakra clearing with them, and looking into that a little bit more deeply as to where my resistance was. And it's not necessarily that it's going to shift it, but I feel like there is lessons for us to get from those clients that we think were not meant for us.
Do you want to check how that lands? Liz?
Sorry. And how does that, Olivia? Sorry.
So I think mostly like the way that I'm determining that they're not right for me is that they have chosen not to work with me, like that they would go forward with working with me if they were right for me. And so, yeah, almost holding like this curiosity of what I would do with any more information about them other than it doesn't feel resonant for them, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
So at a mentoring level, what we want to notice, and it may be partly because you have to wait to share here, but we're curious, Liz, whether that felt like channeling or more psychic. What I'm getting is how you started.
Right.
And your own experience. So what would you say?
I don't know, because I've never done this before. So it's just what came into my presence. Maybe it's my own experience that brought it up. I don't know, because I don't know the difference as far as.
So in terms of supporting you and knowing, we would say that you were channeling information and also interpreting. So it's kind of that place we said where it's part them and part me. That's okay.
Yeah.
And you want to also see when you can just let it be spoken. And it's just, channeling feels more like I'm knowing what I'm saying as I'm saying it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And there was some of that and some of sharing your own experience, which is also valid.
Does it come together? Is there as you practice, does your own experiences go away and the channeling come in, and is there a differential? Or
there's a way that you begin to discern more clearly inside when it feels like you're channeling. And if you allow the channel to speak what might be your experience, it might get interpreted at a little higher level, or it'll be really specific, the part of it that serves the other person. It's a little more targeted in a way. And there may be times, that sharing your experience is valid. Sometimes, as the council will say, Evelina's experience, and sometimes she'll share in my own experience, which she did. So it's just learning the nuances here.
I feel like also I was involved, or ego was involved in that response, in that it's something I need to do myself instead of reject. I don't know. I mean, I'm just looking back at it going, wait, what's this? So, yeah. Okay.
Good. Beautiful, beautiful reflection. And if if it comes from ego of this is what I need to do, it may have the tiniest edge of judgment in
Okay.
it. See?
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's part of the value of opening to clear channeling. So the ego isn't
Right.
in it, sitting over on that pillow.
Is it a struggle? Like as you learn, is that a struggle or does it come naturally to keep that ego over on the pillow over there?
It depends. If someone's asking something that you're not attached to in your ego, it's not your issue, it's pretty easy to stay in the channeling mode. If you have more attachment to the topic, or there's some way that you don't quite align with the person, then it can be much more difficult.
Okay.
But you just want to keep letting the ego know the guides know what they're doing, please. And then go back to, I'm allowing the highest truth to come through. And if you look up in your third eye, the ego doesn't know what you're doing, and it kind of like stops. Anyone else has guidance coming through for Olivia? Nina?
I was getting, and this is going to be, I don't know if this was channeling or psychic because of what whoops, sorry. Oh goodness. Oh, okay, I lost you, sorry. But I was getting, not being very clear with, and it's kind of the same thing Lucinda and Carrie saying that, with boundaries of what it is that you're looking for in a client, so that you're kind of going back and forth of wanting to bring in a client, but they don't necessarily resonate with you. And you're questioning that as to why, which I don't know, maybe that could be our ego because we're always wanting to know why, which I know I do, but maybe to be very clear with what it is that you're looking for. And how does that feel? Personally.
That feels good. That feels real. I'm feeling kind of an unfolding of the wisdom.
Good, good. The divided page in half could be characteristics and qualities of clients I want, and characteristics of qualities I don't want. Put your order in with the universe. We just had to add that. Anyone else? And see if you can allow the wisdom to just flow through. Jasmine?
I've been doing my best to like stay with what first came through, which wasn't an answer to your question. What I saw is a girl self that you are, who's 8 years old, and she was kind of looking in the other direction. She's looking for something. And that's what I received. There's a part of you, like, she's not really there with it. May stay with this. It may be an aspect to integrate within yourself. Like holding that state and like staying focused with you. I haven't quite done this before. But there's something within that I hear the word complete. To complete with her, like a part of yourself, maybe to visit with a younger self who has something to share that may give more clarity around this. Maybe possibly she's not aligned with these clients and she's wanting something that she doesn't have right now. That maybe she needs a little attention and care. And then she can come in more with you, and there'll be more of you to hold these people, so that you can honor yourself more and what she and you are wanting to receive and through your clients. There's some words. It's something about allowing your clients to choose you, like allowing and receptivity and trust. I think that's all for now.
Good. Whoa. So how did that feel, Jasmine?
It feels a little scary. It feels to hold the space and concentrate with you. I feel you more now. I feel your girl self. I feel actually love for you and your girl self, and care and wanting to see you whole.
Okay, and let's see how that landed.
I feel very curious about this younger part. But I think the part that really resonated most was like allowing them to choose me. And as you were saying that, I think I was like feeling some resistance within myself to be with them. So really appreciating that piece of wisdom to go explore.
I'm glad that was helpful for you.
So what we noticed, Jasmine, was you had the image, and rather than interpreting it, felt like you were letting spirit say what wanted to get said about it. That's channeling. That you were allowing the wisdom to come through. Yeah.
It feels very sacred and very like so important to allow the word in like each word as it comes through the most, like with the most clarity and truth. Whether, I mean, yeah, I'm not in my mind, it's whatever word it is that just wants to come forth, that is the next right word for you. But because it's like I'm not attached. I'd like it to be the right word for you, like as a personality, but it's not as important as holding the space of
Right.
and focusing with you and going, what's like, and kind of the spirit inquiry, like, how's this next word want to, like, what is it?
Good.
Um,
And that's that being in the heart. So when you're not trying to interpret, you're not at the mind. So your mind is still, you're letting it come in. And heart speak is always more succinct.
mm.
Yeah. Beautiful. So anyone else to this inquiry, or shall we go to another? Someone feel they're cooking with something? Okay, let's clear the space.
Thank you all for holding that space with me.
It feels that there's an exploration with your 8-year-old that you might find has different taste from you. And if you do some soul retrieval, you might find more alignment between the two of you. That felt like really touching something important in this. So who would have an inquiry for next inquiry? Nina?
So I feel that I get a lot of my information psychically. And so channeling has, yeah, I don't feel that I'm channeling or fully stepping into that. So I'm curious as to what it is that I need to be doing or focusing on or clearing to be able to step into the channeling or stepping up into that, I guess. Channeling.
Mhm. Okay. So tuning into the highest, brightest, clearest guidance that wants to come through you. Inviting your ego to step aside, your mind to be still, and allow the wisdom to flow through. Lucinda?
You already got this, Nina, because you yawned. So you already did the clearing, which I think is really awesome. I just like witnessed. But so I'm really excited because before you even asked the question, I got this huge shiver all over my body, and I was like, oh wow, okay. It's physical. Have you worked with touching, holding items that have energy before?
Not really. I sometimes hold on to a Merkaba, but not real. No,
So spirit is inviting you to begin to start picking up objects and seeing what downloads or uploads or whatever your language is, what you're getting from that.
I will try that. I definitely will. Thank you.
It's the physical touch what is that, Evelina? What is the kinesthetic? Yeah, kinesthetic. I'm missing one of the letters.
Kinesthetic.
Kinesthetics. Thank you.
Kinesthetic.
Yes,
Oh,
kinesthetics.
Oh.
Yes, work with that.
okay. That's
That
interesting.
was
'Cause
really clear, really simple, but I couldn't. Yeah. So
Okay.
it's an art.
I was just looking into that. That's so bizarre. Oops. Okay. Thank
You were muted with the last you said, Lucinda. Do you want to say it again?
I was just saying that is one of your many gifts.
Okay. Okay. I will look in. Thank you.
I felt like that just clearly dropped in. Beautiful. Yeah. Great. Who else is guided to share? Olivia?
Receiving the wisdom of the body. Does that resonate at all?
I'm processing as you say that, because I know that my body, I hold a lot of energy, which don't think it's mine, but I hold a lot of energy for others.
Hmm.
For whatever reason, and I clear that, but it seems that I hold it around my gut area, sacral and all of that. And so maybe, yeah, that's interesting.
Olivia, can you ask them to share a few more words about this? Just tune in and ask for a little fuller explanation.
There's something in the body that's blocking the feeling of being able to do this. Fast heartbeat. Like the emotional signature of fear. And I keep seeing this line like that. It's purple. But it's almost like a feminine form, like the edge of a feminine form. Yeah, that's what I'm receiving.
That's actually the fear. There has been, I know, underlying fear, because in the past there have been some dark entities and things like that. So channeling and things receiving are two different things to me. So I think that there is been a fear for channeling. So that definitely does resonate. And it's interesting because the line, doing the channeling before I break, and when I've done this before, my spine. So I have seen from past lives possibly that there's been a twine or something that has been intertwined within my spine, possibly, not necessarily like or whatever, something that wasn't good. And when we were channeling or doing this, my whole spine was, I sit straight up pretty well, but for some reason it seemed like I was having a very difficult time sitting straight up as we were doing this. So I'm assuming that they're connected at somehow. And maybe that needs to be all released or something rather. I'm not sure, but yeah, that's yeah, it resonates. So
Great.
interesting.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for going deeper, Olivia.
Thank
And
you.
Carrie's been resonating for a bit, and I'd like you to go.
It's so interesting because the first person automatic writing came in for the answer, and this one was pure light language wanting to come in to clear it. So with your permission, she's here to support you in releasing that blockage if that's something you're interested in experiencing.
Sure. Yes.
Ayasha komata yata yakata yaha yakomota yatapotoko. Mwah, 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 mwah. She always starts with like just honoring and loving you up so much. This opportunity to connect with you, dear one. Shaihi moho kayata yahata. Shomo ata ya amo ya mo ya tata ya mo kota ya ta ya ataka oto shaya. Just taking a deep breath in and exhaling, really feeling the grounding in your feet, feeling your roots really connecting to the ground, allowing. Aya oh ya ya ta ya oh ya oh ta ya oh ya oh ya to ya tata ha cha ta 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 oh ta ta ka ta ya ta ya ya ta yo mo hi ha sha ya ha ho sha ya ma ya ta ka ya ama ka ta ya ta 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 kia pa ta 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 hi to to ni oh ya oh ya oh ya yo ya ya me ya ni 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 no ni 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 na ha sha ha sha. Just taking some deep breaths. Ooh, ahi aru sha ya ma ya hi ko. Just inviting in the heart, opening. Shahi sakai ha tai ha sa ya ha taya haya shama kayata ashaya makayata shamakata ya haya oh ya shaya mahata umashahi mahata umashahi ma tata 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 tata. Oh, taking some more deep breaths in and exhaling, just kind of tracking the energy to just notice what you're experiencing and kind of what shows up for you, if anything. There you go. There you go. Can you feel where it's releasing?
Yeah, and I was seeing things, brain, it's all like, yeah, I was just seeing light, not light, well, kind of light, but spirals, or I'm not sure what it was. It was just coming out or being released. I can feel like I can feel the chills in my body that's just lighter. And I kept yawning. And I know at one point it was like finally I was able to expand to be able to get it all out. Because of yawning, yes.
Yeah.
Oh
Beautiful.
my gosh, that was amazing.
Giving it
It's interesting though, because a friend of mine does light language, and I keep saying, you know, let's go through that because I want, you know, to bring light language in or to get activated. And some of the words that you say are things that I find myself saying. Like, and I don't know what they are, but it's EYYE. I don't know what it is, but yeah, that was amazing. I have the chills all over me.
Beautiful.
Yeah. She wanted, what I was experiencing in me, I don't know if that's helpful, is that there feels to be some connection and to support with the languaging for you. So if that resonates at all. And that those sounds felt like it's like kind of the way to shake up some of the stuck old patterns
Okay.
to support you in that, doing that, just to kind of in your remembering of who you are and how to do that.
Right. Okay.
If that resonates. I'm still getting a lot of ringing in my ears. So I don't know if there's more releasing happening, or there might be more yet to be done, but I also am just mindful of our container here.
Yeah.
So I was like, as it was coming through, I'm like, hold it on, we're doing a sample today. Like it was like this, like so I was like kind of feeling my layers of awareness of like how much and where and the boundaries of that.
It was beautiful. It was amazing. As you were saying that, I can feel like it seems like a point of something that's coming out of my ear, I think.
Okay.
I don't know if it's coming out or going in deeper. It's like a long thing that was, I'm not sure which way it was going in or coming out.
Let's
But
just all
yes.
do this. Let's all do this. Yeah. Think of everything you've ever heard about these metaphysical ways of being. Yeah. Coming into now. Yeah.
That's feeling better.
That was amazing. Oh my gosh, so much gratitude. Thank you,
Well,
thank
thank
you for
you.
that. Yes.
I had my human was so nervous because I've never had like a supervisor or mentorship in this, not understanding what these things all come through. And I just been trusting it. So
It was great. I appreciate you trusting it.
yeah. Thank you. And I'm open for feedback from the council because I haven't really had this opportunity.
We felt a lot of clarity in your transmission, and that you arrive in a place where you let it work through you, you let it do what it wants to do. And we felt a sense of the offering without knowing whether it's landing or not, just the offering for the offering. Just beautiful. Yeah, got a nice amount of surrender. There are also some of those sounds that we use. Sometimes in a session, we might be verbally channeling and then go to sounding like that to transmute energy. And as you all see, it does. How many felt a little energy transmuting for yourself while that was happening? Beautiful.
Thank you for that opportunity. That means a lot for my confidence.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, anyone else? Diana.
We would invite you to open the crown and the higher chakras, to invite in the divine energies to come in. And as you do this, the fear of the negative energies will dissipate. As you are reaching for the divine and celestial rather than the psychic, which is on a different realm. Does this resonate for you?
Yes, yes, it does. Yeah.
Like you were right in the center of the channel there.
I'm
Diana.
sorry?
It felt like you were right in the center of that. You just kept reaching for the heart of the wisdom coming through. That's what we're working toward.
Initially, I was very aware of my own personal stuff, but I kept inviting my mind and ego to sit on those cushions. Thank you for that.
Good.
Thank you. That was great. Yeah, and that is it resonates.
Anything else ready to come through? Wanting to come through? Okay. Lucinda?
I just wanted to share an extra piece that goes along with the items for you, Nina, that the more that you will begin to take abstract objects from people that you are either working with or know, and pick up on the energy and share it, you'll get affirmative yeses and nos from people. And as you get more and more and more and more and more yeses, that this will begin to allow the intellectual doubt to step aside and for you to begin to trust more within yourself. This step is chosen for you because it will give you that affirmation of yeses and nos rather quickly and will build you up. And you don't need to charge anyone to do any of these kinds of things. It's not really your work. It's more for you. And you could even have gatherings where you bring other people together who are wanting to work on the same modality, and for each of you to place an item in a bowl when they arrive, and then at the end, after you do your meditation or whatever, each one of you grabs an item and begins to tell something about the other people. But they felt that giving you some steps towards the actualization of using that item and making it fun and playful and community minded might be of service for you.
I love that.
And Carrie, that was awesome. I could visually see like what the light pit was doing. So I cannot wait to like sit and have tea with you one day. Okay, I'm complete. Sorry, my little girl just had to come out and play there for a minute.
That was great, Lisa, and thank you for that, because that sounds so fun and I'm excited to do it. So yes, I give so much gratitude for all of this. So thank you.
We also feel that by guidance helping her understand why this exercise, it became hers. Before it was a suggestion and it became Nina's process or tool. That was lovely. Okay. Jasmine, we're not sure if you're wanting to or not.
I feel so shy with this. I received a vision of you, Nina, and your third chakra, which was kind of going back and forth and holding a lot of energy, so much energy. And I saw a visual of like unwinding that energy from the third and sending it into all your limbs and sending it up and allowing yourself your own, I want to say source or divine energy to flow all the way through your body and empower yourself with your own divine energy. And to really call in golden suns to really fill yourself up like as many times during the day as you wish, like call in a big, juicy, golden sun of your own highest vibrational energy as often as you wish and pour it in and just nourish yourself to empower yourself for the work you want to do. Yeah, that's all.
That's beautiful. So thank you. And that is, I do hold a lot of energy around the third chakra. It's the third and fourth chakra, second and third chakras that I hold a lot of energies that are not mine, or yes, that I'm constantly clearing. And so,
At least you used to.
oh, I used to, correct.
Yeah, the clearing Carrie gave you, that was so incredible. I felt that, and I saw the shift in you, and like so much change there. It was very, very powerful. And I was asking, is this still applicable? You know, would it still serve you? And I was getting a yes.
Well, I'm very grateful for that. And so thank you. So it's beautiful. Yes, I will be doing suns and empowering that and golden light and everything. So I appreciate it. So thank you. Oh my gosh, to all of you. Yes.
Beautiful. And answers for everyone as well. And as you see, it's a perfect example of channeling can be verbal, it can be the language of light, it can be sounding, it can be imagery that comes through, it can be exercises. This is the way we like to work because it's so much more practical. You see how change is happening here. Yeah.
One last thing, Nina, is, if you don't mind, grounding cord is essential. That just came, like golden suns and grounding and releasing all the energies that are not your own. You can just send them right down that grounding cord and just allow your grounding cord to really, really work for you. It's what is there.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So we think we want to move to another inquiry, if that feels okay. Olivia, did you?
Could I just ask a quick question in the meantime of what you were just saying about some of the information coming in as imagery? How do you convey that without interpreting it? Does that make sense?
Right, it does. And it's a nuance difference. So you're seeing the imagery. What we felt with Jasmine was that seeing it and then tuning into the meaning behind it or the words to define it. And it's whether you're looking into higher consciousness for that or you're looking into your intuitive mind. Both sacred. In channeling, you're looking more into the higher consciousness, and it may come through a little slower or may take a bit to find those words. When you're interpreting yourself, you're trying to discover what it means. And so that engages more of the conscious mind, which is more limited by your experience, where when you're tuning in higher, you're accessing higher mind without limitations.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciating that clarification.
Good, thank you. Jasmine?
I would love to make an inquiry.
Okay.
If that's okay.
So let's clear the space from the last one. And tuning in, so we have about 20 minutes. So we'll do the inquiry and responses. And if you haven't shared yet, you might just try allowing it to speak through you, if it feels right. Jasmine.
Well, I would love any guidance or suggestions or whatever comes through around. I've just really, really struggled with social media for years, like knowing it would be really good for me to interact, for community, just connect to the community, but also for my business. And I have such resistance and no matter how much guidance, I just like to see what maybe receive around that. Yeah, around my blockage of really putting myself out there on social media.
So tuning in, and let's stay with the question of the blockage to putting yourself out with social media. We can give alternatives, but let's stay with that question. What do you receive? Letting spirit speak through you. Lucinda?
I really was going to try not to say anything this time, but this one is nudging me so hard. So Jasmine, what's coming through is your dad. And your dad's coming through, and it's asking you to let go of how other people perceive you. You are such a beautiful writer, and this is like heavy. So you are such a beautiful spokesperson in every way, written, audio and visual. That's all you're doing. Please take the labels of everything else away, because that's all they are. They're labels. And labels, for some reason, are fear-based for you at this time. And letting go of those labels and replacing them with your gifts in the written and in the spoken word.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And it's father energy. So there's some callings for apologies coming to you. And this is a group setting, so I want to be sensitive. But feel free to reach out to me later if you would like. I don't want to divulge any more than what is appropriate for you in a group setting. So I just want to say, in my narrated version of that you're being called to do some healing with judgment, with the masculine energy. And it doesn't necessarily even have to be the use of the word father, but think of, like you're saying, the father son. And that energy comes in the form of the moon is our psyche. It's our internal knowings. And the sun is the new day, every day, what we put out into the universe. And that image of you, how you're choosing to step to the left and play in the Shakespearean play, this is by your choice. And we're asking you to choose better for yourself.
Oh, I'm really looking forward to hearing more.
Yeah.
Everyone, because you really tapped in there with my father. And
yeah,
I was very deeply wounded as a baby and by him.
Yeah, it's big. That's a big one. That's very big.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this is a
Thank
piece. This is a piece for you to go back and unwind. It's necessary in order for that evolution to happen for you. It's there, and it's what I'm able to see is it's overwhelmingly huge for you in the most beautiful way of an impact for you. That it's needed of you to go back and to heal that.
Nice.
Yes, so that you can step into your higher voice. Yeah, that's what's coming through.
My higher voice.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds very apt.
Yeah, is that enough for me to be complete and for us to table it for another time if you like?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm aware of the whole group too. Thank you.
Yeah, because we're time sensitive. So
Thank you. That sensitivity, you've touched something important, and it's really lovely to offer more support. And you have a room full of support. It feels like the deep dive that frees up the inner masculine to move your life forward.
Yeah,
Yeah, well said. Thank you, Lucinda.
thank you.
And good boundaries. Yeah, thank you. Diana?
What came through for me was just the word fun. And so going deeper, I see a gathering of women with fun as the central component. There's exchange, communication, possibly some games, something fun. But to bring in the element of fun into your social media so that it becomes a joy for you and a joy for others. That is all at this time. Does that resonate for you? Does that resonate for you?
Oh, yes, very much. Very much. Yeah, I could use to spend more time having fun and that fun. Thank you. Yeah, that's really good. I'm far too serious about social media.
And Nina, did you still want to say something? Or?
Yes, but it's what I was getting immediately was about being seen. That
Would you
very-
tune in and just let it speak through you, just for practice?
okay.
Okay. So great truth here. Tune in and let it speak through you.
I'm actually gonna get some tears. So it's about being seen. And this comes down to you as your younger self, about being seen as to who you are for you. And I am being shown it's of you as a little girl. And it's having fun and just swirling around, and like that you don't have a care in the world, and that of just loving life and loving you for you.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's I'm just getting very emotional from what I'm getting. So and I think it's with your heart opening and the healing possibly that needs to be done, or opening your heart and have the healing come in.
Yeah. So tune into your light. You're doing a great job merging with her, empathing. And it's okay to be there. You're really understanding something and you're channeling. That's okay. And then be the love you're bringing. Be the love that's speaking to her through you. Yeah.
I mean, I'm just there's so much light and love.
Mhm.
It's just wrapping you like in a blanket and holding you up.
Mm. Mhm. Mhm.
Um,
Mhm. Mhm.
Thank you. I feel this on a soul level.
Mhm.
Okay.
Thank you, Lisa.
So do you notice, Nina, how much you've touched Jasmine? And then you were able to make that shift to be that which touches rather than to merge with the touch which you touched.
Right.
That was beautiful. Could you all feel that when she was able to shift? Yeah. And still the emotions are there because we can often feel what wants to be touched and released in someone. Yeah. So how's that land, Jasmine?
Wow, Nina, you didn't speak that many words, but boy, I mean, I could feel the energy that came from you. Your words were just so perfect and powerful, and like I feel it in my soul chakra. Like it feels like you felt the love I didn't receive, and want me to actually get to experience it as a girl and as just a being. Can feel it in my soul still. It'll be staying with me for a while. That was, thank you. That was really powerful.
There you have the difference between interpreting it, bringing it through, which would have been valuable, and channeling, which touches the core that wants to be touched, that only spirit can see. What a wonderful demonstration. Yeah, we've learned a lot today. Whew. Anyone else? Heather?
Jasmine, I just got that the belief that it's a struggle is the struggle. And I could see it as like this little rock standing in your way. And so when you work with the belief that things are a struggle and that gets out of the path, there's just a clear opening to what you want to accomplish. Is that right?
Beautiful. Another real touch point. Mhm. And what we might encourage from the next step is, can we just take that out? Because you gave her a visual. So it's like this rock of this belief. You want to just offer that up? And then we would say, use your hand, offer it up. Beautiful.
There.
Yeah.
There it goes.
Surrender.
Whew.
Yeah.
Let it go. Yeah, it's kept me safe. It's a belief that's kept me safe. It's like I have to release all attachment to that. Let it go. Thank you. Thank you. Whew.
Beautiful clarity. How'd that feel, Heather? Great.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I kept getting the message to stop taking it so seriously. And this image of you, like your mouth or face, the mouth is open and receiving words, receiving the words that let you know that what you have to say is beautiful and poignant and worthy and needs to be said. And that this is just a tool for helping you to the image is showing me like eating again, eating those words, but like in a way of nourishment, receptivity, openness.
How'd that land?
That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the words, receiving the words is nourishment. I really like what you said about. I already forgot it, that it touched me very much. What you said before the word about the words. I feel so like open and present now, like nothing's sticking.
That's just fine. You got into now. Yeah, thank you. And if
Yeah,
it
yeah,
really
really
felt
good.
like a
Yeah,
sweet gift. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That was good.
So in interest of time, let's clear the space. And yes, Jasmine, we feel you've opened on so many levels, and just allow yourself to enjoy. Thank you all. What gifts you have to give each other. So let's take a few minutes and everyone unmute and have, unless you have noise in your background, and just share what you've learned. What have we learned?
I wanted to share with Jasmine that the image that I saw of this gathering of women was sitting outside in a park-like setting in a circle. I just wanted to share that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So what have we learned? Let's glean the gems. What have we learned about channeling today? What have you learned?
It's much more fun altogether. I think we get so much more information. This is like, I'm spoiled now.
It's like the speakerphone is already turned on.
Yeah, it's like, oh gosh, this is so much fun to get so many different,
Mhm.
so much, yeah, you know what I mean, never mind.
I was actually feeling the group working together. And at times, the intentions of grounding each other and supporting each other and holding each other and interpreting. And it was just this, the energy is so powerful. It's magnificent. So it's an honor to experience this. So thank you.
Mhm. Yes. Beautiful synergies.
I'm just
No, I'm feeling in our. Oh,
Right.
go ahead.
I'm just sitting with trusting what comes through.
Mhm. Well, if you just kind of let your mind meander over the last hour, and sometime you might notice that about everything that came through landed and worked. Isn't that fun? Yeah.
I felt this whole clearing almost for all of us. I don't want to, I don't want to be tentative about that because I don't know, but just of like really coming in and landing in a deeper place, like spirit landing more in the, like coming down in the third, the second, the first, and like grounding group, group grounding, receiving of this gift that Evelina's teaching us.
Evelyn and the council.
in the council.
And
Yes.
your guides and spirit and a few angels. Yeah. Some goddesses.
I received, I really am kind of know this, but I'm receiving more and more clarity about when I'm guided to speak and when I can sit back and know it's going to be taken care of in the group. The same thing happened at the festival where I was told I need to speak first or last and bring in the codes. And when it was coming time to the last, I was getting a massage by all these sisters. And I'm like, wait a minute. Like, I don't want to let go of this moment of being like totally like loved up. And another sister with the exact light language transmission stood up on stage and it all came through her. And I didn't have to. And I felt that in here. Like when I needed to, I couldn't, I was like I couldn't not come through on that person. But the other ones, I was getting it kind of similar what other people were getting. And it felt good in a group because it felt so validating. Because usually I'm doing it alone and you don't have, so I kind of got my message. But then to hear everyone's message, it's almost like a research project for me of the validation of what is coming through. Is it true or not true? So it helps with my confidence. Having external validation of it all and knowing when I can sit back and trust it's going to be taken care of and when it needs to come through me. And just really like, so like feeling all of those like nuances. So thank you for that.
Excellent. Excellent. Very quickly.
I have a question. A couple of times, the first thing that came was one word. How common is that in channeling?
It seems more common in the beginning. And as you tune in, look up, call for guidance to help you know what to say about the word, more comes through. So I want to honor our time, and I'm sorry I've gone a little bit past, but I want to say that one more benefit we see for all of you is by working an answer like getting visible, you all get wisdom that you can apply to yourself. So you might watch the video from a place of what can I learn for me from it, at least in some of these answers, because you'll be listening with a different ear. Listen beautifully today. And we as the council thank you. What a glorious experience to be with you, with these guides, to take this to this level. Yeah. And how many of you would you like to do this another time? So we thank you. We thank you, Council of 12. We thank you, all the radiant guides and beings and goddesses and angels that have assisted us today. We release you. We close this temple connection that we all may take our energies back. And we thank you, really, your gift to this work. And we release beings of light and ask you continue to offer guidance. Be available to these amazing people saying yes. Oh. Thank you to you all. Let's do a real quick releasing down to the chakras. You want to learn to just make it quicker and quicker. And if you need to go through again after, do. Take your energy back. Oh, feel that light we've all been tuning in, encompassing you. Yeah. Thank you. God bless you. And let's go out on sparkles. We all deserve them. Blessed be. We are complete. You can stay to say goodbye.